Hey, photographer, so you're wondering what your business actually looks like on the other side of adding video. So you understand what really changes when you go from photo only to hybrid photo and video without guessing, without assuming it's going to double your workload, and without wondering if this is just another thing that you're going to try and then drop. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through what the real shift is so you can see exactly what changes when hybrid photo video is working for your business and why staying where you are at is what's actually keeping you stuck. Hybrid Hangout is literally what it sounds like. This is a place to hang out and talk about what it takes to build a photography business, especially if you're even a little bit curious about adding video. I'm Shay, and I'm so stoked that you've come to hang out with me and talk about the stuff I'm already thinking through after a week of running my photo video business. Here you're going to find conversations about why photographers are booked up and yet still so stressed about money, why being photo only has a financial ceiling, and why adding video is one of the simplest ways to raise your average booking without blowing up your workload. I shoot photo and video at weddings, sometimes solo, sometimes with a team, and I sell high packages because I'm selling photos and simple story-driven video with the equipment I'm already using. Hybrid Hangout is where I talk about how I do that, how I shoot hybrid photo video in a way that doesn't make the day harder, how I edit both mediums quickly without it taking over my life, how I package and price photo and video so it sells without feeling weird, how I market so things compound instead of resetting every month. There will be strategy. There will be rants. There will be very specific systems. There will be side quests about business, money, confidence, burnout, gear, clients, boundaries, and whatever else I'm deep into at the time. This podcast is about building a smarter photography business, one that includes motion and paying you better. If you like photography, you like money, and you like learning in a way that feels more like hanging out than being taught at, you will probably love Hybrid Hangout. So come on, let's hang out. At this point, you do not need more information about how to shoot or how to edit. And if you want hand-holding help on how to do those things, just join my Hybrid Hub coaching program. You already understand the mechanics. The real question is whether this is worth implementing into your business and what your business will actually look like when you do add video. This is where I want to be very clear. You are not starting over. You are not building a second business. You're not becoming a videographer and abandoning photography. This is not a pivot. This is an upgrade. You are taking what you already do and making it more valuable. And if you don't understand that, you will keep treating this like an optional skill instead of the thing that actually changes how your business grows. Hi, my name is Shayna, and I teach photographers how to shoot, edit, market, and sell hybrid photo video in a way that is simple, repeatable, and actually increases what you make per booking. And what I want to do in this episode is show you what actually changes when this is working, so you can stop looking at hybrid photo video like it's a risk and start seeing video as the most direct way to grow what you've already built. Hear me, photographer friend. If you stay where you're at right now, your growth is predictable, whether you want it to be or not. You book, you shoot, you deliver, and if you want to make more money, you need more bookings or higher prices. That's it. Those are your levers. The problem is that both of those levers have limits. There are only so many weekends you can shoot before your life starts to feel like work with no margin. And there's only so far you can raise your prices before it feels like you're stretching your offer to justify it. You might get away with this for a while, but eventually you feel it. You start overthinking your inquiries, you start questioning your pricing, and your confidence drops even if your work is solid. What most photographers don't say out loud is that they feel capped with their income. And it's not because they're not booking. I mostly talk to really busy, stressed out photographers, actually. It's actually the way their business is structured and that it requires them to do more in order to earn more. And at some point, that trade stops feeling worth it. So these photographers, they stay busy, but they don't feel like they're moving forward. And that's what happens if nothing changes. That's what's going to happen to you. If you're a photographer who already knows you want to add video, but you keep getting stuck in research mode instead of actually offering it, then listen to this. Because your clients are already asking about video. And every time you don't offer it, you're leaving thousands on the table from work you're already doing. I put together a free video upsell starter kit that shows you exactly how to fix that. No film school, no complicated setup, just 5 clear steps to start adding video using the camera you already have, or simple add-ons like Super 8 or even your iPhone. You'll learn how to pick your entry point, start practicing in a way that builds demand, add video to your pricing right away, and turn it all into real bookings. If you want to make more per wedding without taking on more clients, this is where you start. Grab the free video upsell starter kit now. So when you implement hybrid photo and video correctly, the first thing that changes is your income per booking. And not necessarily your workload to a crazy extent, not your schedule, your income per booking. And this is the part that photographers underestimate. You're not adding something random to your business. You're strengthening your offer in a way that supports higher pricing without it feeling forced. You're not trying to convince someone to pay more for the same thing. You're giving them a version of your work that is objectively better. And because of that, your pricing has way more room to improve. The second thing that changes is your calendar. You are not going to need as many bookings to hit your income goals. That means you have more space, more flexibility, and less pressure to say yes to everything. The third thing that changes is how clients perceive your work. When someone sees both photo and video presented together in a way that makes sense, it doesn't feel like an add-on to these clients. It feels like the full version of what they actually want. They might be searching for videographers with a similar style as you, but they're not finding them. And so you need to make it easy for them to say yes. The fourth thing that changes is your confidence. You stop feeling like you need to justify your pricing because you will know that your offer is stronger. Let's make all of this real instead of theoretical. If you are currently booking weddings at $5,000 or $6,000 and you are shooting 20 weddings per year, you are sitting around $100,000 to $120,000 a year. That's solid. Like, that is a real business. You're probably paying yourself around 40 or 50K. But if you want to grow that without changing your offer, your only options are more bookings or higher prices. Now let's look at what happens when you bring hybrid photo and video in a way that feels structured really, really well. So it's an easy yes for your clients. Say your average booking moves to $8,000, $9,000, or $10,000 because your offer includes both photo and video. You've just changed your entire year without really changing your calendar. You have the same number of weddings, but a much different income. That is not a small shift. That is the difference between feeling capped and stressed out and stuck, and then feeling like you have hope and room to grow. This is where I want to call something out, because this is where, in my experience, photographers hesitate. They think, okay, but is that realistic for me? The answer is yes, if your offer supports it. If you try to charge more without changing anything, it will feel forced. If you strengthen your offer, the price increase makes sense and you can speak to it really authentically in your marketing. That is the difference. So let's talk about why this works, because this is where most photographers misunderstand what they are selling. You're not selling video. You're selling a better version of documentation. Your clients already care about remembering their day. That is why they are hiring you in the first place. When you introduce video in the right way, you're not creating a new need, you're expanding something they already value. You are giving them more ways to experience something they already care about. And because of that, it lands differently. Now, let's talk about how this actually shows up in your business. When this is working, your inquiries feel different. You're not getting on calls trying to justify your pricing. You are having conversations where clients already understand what you offer. When this is working, your bookings feel different. You are not relying on volume to hit your goals. Each booking carries more weight. When this is working, your editing feels different. Not because the workload disappears, but because it's structured. You have systems around your editing and delivering. You are working through the system, and you're not drowning in duplicate photos because your shoot is also prioritizing videos. If you are delivering video and still scrambling for music every time you edit, then you're wasting hours that you don't have. Everything on Artlist is high quality, searchable, and actually usable for client work. There's no weird licensing issues, no digging through random sites hoping something fits. On Artlist, I can find a track fast, drop it into my film. I can grab sound effects that fill gaps and help me with storytelling, and then I just move on. If you are editing video consistently, Artlist is just one of those tools that removes friction. I literally use Artlist for every single video project, and I'm not even kidding, I'm such a hoe for Artlist. My affiliate link is in the description if you want to check it out and try it on a discount. When this is working, your year feels different. You have space and margin, and you're not constantly trying to keep up. This is the part I really want you to think about. If you could add $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to your year without adding more shoots, what would that change for you? Would you shoot less? Would you travel more? Would you feel less pressured to say yes to everything that comes your way? Would you have time to actually think about where your business is going instead of just maintaining it? Because that is what this method creates when you add video. Let's talk about the gap between where you are and where this starts working. Because at this point, you already understand enough to start. You should understand on some level how to shoot hybrid photo and video. You should understand the 5 clips method if you've been following along with my posts. You understand how editing works really well and really quickly if you have a system that you follow. You understand how video can fit into your offer. The only thing left is implementation, and this is where most people stall. Not because you're not capable, but because you try to figure it out alone. You overthink it. You could second guess your pricing. You might hesitate when talking to clients. You might partially implement and then give up and say that this doesn't work. And that's why this either works or it doesn't, you know? Not because of the concept, but because of the execution and, frankly, because of you being accountable to your goals. Because of you being in integrity with what you say you're going to do. That is why I have Hybrid Hub. And that's also why I offer a free one-on-one strategy call to see if Hybrid Hub is the right fit. Because what you need at this point is not general information. You need someone to look at your business specifically, to answer your questions, and to show you how video can fit into your business and life. You need to know what your pricing should look like based on where you're at right now. You need to know how to position hybrid photo and video in a way that makes sense for your specific market. You need to know how to talk about video without feeling awkward. You need to know what to do next so you stop sitting in this in-between place. Because if you don't do that, you are going to stay right where you are. You are going to keep thinking about it. You're going to keep watching content about this like you are right now, and you are going to keep not implementing fully. And that is the worst place to be. If you are listening to this and realizing that this is less about learning something new and more about actually applying what you already understand, that is the shift, my friend. So, when you look at what actually changes when you go from photo only to hybrid photo and video, the real answer is this. Your business becomes more efficient, your offer becomes stronger, and your income per booking increases without requiring more from your calendar. This is not about doing more. It is about making what you already do more valuable. If you want help figuring out exactly how video fits into your business, your pricing, your workflow, your market, book a free one-on-one strategy call with me. I will walk through your current setup and show you what this could look like for you specifically. If this is the kind of shift you want for your business, making more per booking, having a cleaner workflow, and not feeling maxed out all of the time, the next step is to map this into your business. Book your one on one strategy call with me. I'll walk you through exactly what this would look like for you based on your current business, and the link to book that is in the description. And if you want to see how this works when it's implemented with full support, Hybrid Hub is where I teach photographers how to build this into their business with a complete system so you're not guessing at any stage. But the first step is getting clear on your version of this. Book the free call and we'll see if Hybrid Hub is right for you.
Beautiful, gorgeous, perfect raccoon with a camera. Let's hang out.